I should certainly do it.
I started at his remark, for my companion had been eating his breakfast, with his attention focused entirely upon the paper, which was propped up by the coffee pot. I looked across at him to find his eyes settled upon me in that half-amused, half-questioning expression that he usually assumed when he felt he had made an intellectual point.
Do what? A most characteristic question of yours, Watson. You will not, I am sure, be offended if I say that any reputation which I may have for sharpness has been entirely gained by the admirable foil which you have made for me. Have I not heard of some debutantes who have insisted upon plainness in their chaperones? There is a certain analogy.
Our time in the Baker Street rooms had left us on those easy terms of endearment, where much may be said without offense. And yet I acknowledged I was nettled by his remark. I may be obtuse, but I fail to see how you knew that I was
asked to help in the Edinburgh University Bazaar.
Precisely. The letter had just come to hand, and I have not spoken to you since.
In spite of that, I would venture to suggest that the help you have been asked to give is to expand the university cricket field.
I looked at him in such bewilderment that he vibrated with silent laughter.
The fact is, Watson, you are an excellent subject. You are never blasé. You respond instantly to any external stimulus. And I found that during breakfast, you were easier to read than the leader in the Times in front of me.
I should like to know how you came to your conclusions.
I fear that my good nature in giving explanations has seriously damaged my reputation. But in this case, the train of events were filled with such obvious facts that no credit can be taken for them. You entered the room with a thoughtful expression, the look of a man who was debating some point in his mind. In your hand you held this solitary letter. Now, last night you retired with the best of spirits, so it was clear that this letter had caused some change in you.
This is obvious.
It is all obvious when it is explained to you. As you crossed, I saw that you held the envelope flap side forward, and I saw upon the letter the old shield-shaped device that I have observed upon your old college cricket cap. It was therefore obvious that the letter was from Edinburgh University or from some club connected with the university. When you crossed to the table, you laid down the envelope on your plate with the address side uppermost, and then you walked over to the mantelpiece to examine the photograph on the left side. Yes.
It amazed me to see the accuracy with which he observed my movements. What next?
I began by glancing at the address, and I could tell, even at a distance of 6 feet, that it was unofficial communication. This I gathered from the use of the word doctor upon the address, to which, as a bachelor of medicine, you have no legal claim. I knew that university officials are pedantic in their correct use of titles, and I was thus enabled to say with certainty that your letter was unofficial. When, on your return to the table, you turned over your letter and allowed me to perceive that the enclosure was a printed one. The idea of a bazaar first occurred to me. I had already weighed the possibility of it being a political communication, but this seemed improbable in the present stagnant condition of politics. When you returned to the table, your face still retained its expression, and it was evident that your examination of the photograph had not changed the current of your thoughts. In that case, it must itself bear upon the subject in question. I turned my attention to the photograph, therefore, and saw at once that it consisted of yourself as a member of the Edinburgh University 11, with the pavilion and cricket field in the background. My small experience of cricket clubs has taught me that next to churches and cavalry ensigns, they are the most debt-laden things upon earth. When, upon your return to the table, I saw you take out your pencil and draw lines upon the envelope, I was convinced that you were endeavoring to realize some projected improvement, which was to be brought about by a bazaar. Your face still showed some indecision, so that I was able to break in upon you with my advice that you should assist in so good an object.
I couldn't help smiling at the simplicity of his explanation. Of course, it's as easy as possible.
I may add
My remark appeared to nettle him.
that the help that you have been asked to give is to write for their album, and that you have already made up your mind that the present incident will be the subject of your article.
But how?
It is as easy as possible. In the meantime, you will excuse me if I return to this very interesting article upon the trees of Cremona and the exact significance of their preference in the manufacture of violins. It is one of those small outlying problems to which I am sometimes tempted to direct my attention.